That's my point. It doesn't surprise me.
We need to do is the one thing now.
In a second. Because I want... Now that I have a bunch of these fruit trees, instead of saving the fruit, I'm going to sell the fruit, get some money, and then we're going to deal with the one thing, and then I'm also going to look for the next money tree. Like, the actual next hole, so I can try to figure out our pattern. Because, in case people forget, the way the money trees work, your island has a pattern of good and bad days, and if you can figure out what the good days are, they will always yield maximum results in about a week. So that means every week, if we know what the good day is, 1 week later, I will get 99,000 bells to triple. So that's nearly 300k a money tree, and all the money trees in between then are 30,000. So that's like 150k weekly, and that's ridiculous. And that's also going to end up good long-term cash with these fruit trees. And I'm going to pick a location and extend my orange orchard as well. And all my cherries are in, so that's going to be maximum freaking profits. Oh, hey, balloon. I just want to see how much my fucking... Wait, what color? Oh, it's a funny gay one. My lucrative fruit farm. I could also just throw some apples in the mix. I'll plant more oranges. Couple of minutes because I'm trying to have like a ridiculous amount of every fruit tree, because when I'm sort of mass moving the island, I am going to have a really good orchard of like 10 to 15 fruit trees, because that's really good. Like, all of these are also going to... All of this fruit, while not much, is probably going to be worth, like, 50k. And a lot of that could go into the housing at that point, and then every few days, this is just going to be really good money, but I'm probably going to plant more orange trees, and those orange trees might be planted, like, over here. Plant a couple. Maybe get rid of some of my regular trees. Or move the location of some regular trees.
It's good to keep the regular trees around because of that whole them giving, you know, wood and stuff.
I know. So, if I'm gonna plant more orange trees, it might be, like... I could probably plant, like, 1... 2, 3, like right there. Back to claiming my cherries. Peach's cherry. Everyone loves Peach's cherry. And that one guy wouldn't.
I wish I could find that video again, but if I'm not Mandela affecting like a mother or father, I seem to remember that video was made by someone associated with Channel Awesome, and well, you know what happened was them.
The Peach's cherry bit's great. Okay, let's see how much my fruit farm idea has paid off. And that's not even counting some of the extra fruit trees currently growing. And then we can spend some money in here as well. And I'm going to also throw in some fish. So, the pears, that, the water bug, those cherries, those...
Wait,
those,
I thought...
what?
I thought... Did we donate a water bug already?
That's the giant water bug. I caught an extra one.
Okay.
I did that off camera when I was
Okay.
figuring out how the one app works. Now, this is including some fish, but this should be...
It's gonna be a lot. Yeah.
Sweet baby Jesus. My God. I can spend a little bit of that. Let's see. I'm gonna go put a tiny bit of money, I can actually put a decent chunk into the house and some extra into... Because that paid a good chunk if I use, like, mostly what we earned. And there's the bonus miles, and now I'm gonna put on, so that needs 300 on first. I'm going to do that to get an even 100,000, and now I could do, let's do, knock it down like this so that it's deposit, and I can do half my money. That gives me decent balance. So, a lot of that money went, like, a good bit went to the housing, and then a good bit went to other things, because once we figure out what the money tree logic is, off recording, I've been charting down the tree data, so I have a, like, really good checklist. I'll go deal with the one thing in a minute as well. I'm just looking for the... Oh, there it is. So, I'm gonna do the same trick. Dig up the 1,000 and do 10,000 and drag these together, create 11,000, sacrifice the 1,000 we just made, dig it up, drop it near the house, and this is a Saturday tree. And if we get a big payout, that'll be a pattern worth looking at, simply because the big way that, like, the money tree system works, and I'll explain it again, your island has a random day, some kind of pattern where you get better odds of getting a, like, item out of the money tree of what the... I'm wording that weird. The money tree's pattern is basically it grows, and on your perfect days it will always yield maximum results. So, if I drop money trees near my... house, is just a temporary, like... idea, they should... Where did we plant that other money tree the other day?
I don't fucking know. I think it's that one.
That should be it. I'm trying to keep them near my house so that we can check the progress. I'll deal with the one thing in a minute. Because I'm going to be charting down what money we get. Because if we get a higher resolve, it's going to be a good idea to figure out what the maximum money we have is. Because then I can put 99,000 in a bag. And the 99,000 we put... Oh. Nice. And the rock one. I'll deal with the one thing in a minute. So. We're also going to stop soon. Because we should get a camper in a day or two. So if you do the 11,000 trick, what you're doing, and I've explained this a few times, but it's good to thoroughly explain it, because I was trying to explain this in some streams, and I had some people mildly confused. Your island has a order of events for your money tree to be maximum odds of returning the amount of money you put into it. Meaning the best way to figure out what your maximum odds are, plant 11,000 bells. Because if you get 11,000 out of it, it was a maximum odds day, and you're only losing the 1,000 you dig up. And after you test for a couple of weeks, once you figure out the pattern, you know that the money tree you grow should be a maximum return. And if you're unsure on that, you can always do a safety, like, do, like, 15,000 or something, so that you get better yields in case you're wrong. Though if you're really, really unsure and you want to maximize odds without being too risky, do another 11,000 test. And if you get the 11,000 to repeat 3 money trees in a row, like on the same date or same number of days, you know you have a maximum odds.
That's the one problem, is putting that right there.
Once we unlock the fact that I've looped and had this bug here every time today, we'll deal with one thing soon, and I'm gonna stop soon anyway. So the reason I'm trying to get the money tree thing solved, because in a long-term way, that will be hundreds of bells every, like, week or so. Especially if we can determine that our pattern is every other day yields a perfect tree. That would mean, like, 3 or 4 days a week, we'll get a money tree that will yield maximum results, meaning every few trees will have 1,000,000. Also, and I wanted to point this out a few minutes ago, you were talking about leaving regular trees for wood. These still drop wood. They just drop fruit as well. Meaning the fruit trees, and fruit trees will never get...
Fruit trees, like, can they be the, like, salted wood tree, or the hardwood tree? No, I mean, can they be the trees that seem to have a slightly more likely chance to drop?
I think they count as regular wood.
Hmm.
And I'm probably about to plant some oranges.
Alright, so that would be the, like, only quote-unquote purpose.
Yeah, but it's random anyway. And this is a really...
Did you just get 3 eggs?
Yeah. And the good thing about... Oh, and I missed a cherry. And the really good thing about this, and this is going to be a good habit, every time I harvest fruit, I should come back and use the fruit trees for wood resources. Because that way, the fruit tree becomes a wood source as well in a day. And that's a really good way to constantly get wood and stuff. We'll deal with one thing in a minute. And I got some extra eggs and plenty of other wood. This way, I'm forcing myself every few days to farm wood, since I've already got rid of the fruit. Oh, I don't want that stink bug because I want to sell some bugs to get some money back. It's not much, but I'm also going to plant some other fruit trees and claim some wood off of these. See, we have really good odds since it's random anyway. Just start turning your fruit trees into a secondary wood farm. Because I'm going to try to make a habit of every couple of days selling off the fruit that grows once the fruit grows in. And then we can claim it for resources. And that will be a really good long-term income. And even if you think you have a bunch of money and you don't really know what to do with all the extra money, it's always good to get, like, money. I saw a balloon.
It just floated away. Oh, there it is.
That's a yellow! Yellow are usually money! Money over here!
Miss! Yes.
Oh, I forgot to comment on this too. Missing doesn't use the slingshot. Thank God. Those can be 5, 10, like 15. And of course I get an item. Now, I said this before. It's not guaranteed. To stop those monsters, 1, 2, 3, there's a fresh new way that's trouble-free. It's got Paul Anka's guarantee.
Guaranteed.
Void in Tennessee. Just don't look. Just don't look. If you stop looking at advertisements, they lose their power. Oh, like the old woman who couldn't find the beef?
Exactly.
I didn't fully get that joke as a child, but the joke, and this is really good because it plays into it.
Wasn't that Arby's?
No,
No,
Wendy's.
it was Wendy's. That was their advertisement in the 90s.
It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, how many of you ended up falling for those fake rumors about the money trees having positive days where they would always yield a 100% payout? A lot of people at the time were promoting that and spreading that news around without really looking into it. At the time, I kind of just believed it because a lot of credible sources were also promoting that, but as it turns out, people that first started promoting it were basically doing so by either heavily editing their footage or hacking their game to make their footage seem legitimate, and it seems like a lot of credible sources just picked up on the story and took it at face value and never knew that people were essentially hacking their game or heavily editing the footage to make this seem legitimate, when it turns out this is not at all how the game works. The way the money trees work, 10,000 bells is the limit of a 100% return, meaning if you put 10,000 bells in the glowing spot, it will always yield 3 bags of 10,000 bells. Anything over 10,000 only has a 30% chance that you get your full investment converted into the tree value. 70% of the time you end up with 3 bags of 10,000 bells. Let's say you put in 99,000 bells. 70% of the time you will end up with 3 bags of 10,000. 30% of the time you would end up with 3 bags of 99,000. So, if you have a bunch of money and don't mind a huge gamble, you could bury 99,000, hoping that you get that 30% chance of a maximum yield. And this can turn into a heated debate. I've talked about this before, but I think the best way to use the money trees is to put 10,000 bells in the hole so that you get your 10,000 bells back and profit 20,000 bells. But I have had a lot of pretentious math nerds try to argue that I don't understand probability and law of averages, and they will throw around a number of different bell amounts and tell you that because of probability and law of averages, that these amounts are likely going to yield good results because the law of averages dictates that your average amount of perfect trees should be this many, and that using a small amount of extra bells, that logistically you are not losing that much money because you will gain this amount of money, because logistically you are incredibly likely to see those 30% chances go off at least this many days, meaning your profit margin can be incredibly high if you are willing to gamble, because the math says the gamble is worth it. But the thing is, unless something is 100% or 0%, you have to account for the scenarios where the math just happens to fail. Likely does not mean guaranteed, and unlikely does not mean never. Just because the average expected yield is this many trees does not mean someone will always get the average. Someone could be under the average, and yet people that argue with math always like to argue that, oh, that is statistically incredibly rare and unlikely. But it could still happen. Anyway, I have rambled long enough. You can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord link, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shield for a minute. If you subscribe to the channel, and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.